You're watching Gamescom Studio on IGN. Next month, one of the most innovative and delightful-looking LEGO games is heading our way. It is called LEGO Voyagers, and I can't wait to team up with a friend and explore it. Here to tell me about it is Karsten Lund. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm really curious. This is a game about two LEGO bricks. The LEGO minifig is one of the most iconic toys in history ever, and it's humanoid. It's easy to relate to. Why did you choose to go with elements rather than minifigs?
Well, at Lightbrick Studio, we're just fascinated with the brick. So the first game, Builder's Journey, we were putting brick building as the start of the show, and we thought this time around, why not try and go like one step deeper and see what it feels like to be a Lego brick, actually.
I like it.
So that was sort of the basic premise, yeah.
Was there ever a version that was with minifigs, or was it always just brick?
No, it started as a very simple prototype with a few little brick elements, and we just played around with what it felt like to actually navigate physically with a tumbling brick, and it just felt fun instantly.
I love that.
So we thought that was sort of the way to go.
So tell me about this. This is a exclusively two-player co-op game. You've got a red and a blue brick. Are they just red and blue? Can you change color? Are they different in any way? Tell us about the setup here.
They are just red and blue, which are sort of the colors that stand out in most of the scenes. That's why we chose these colors. You can switch them between you, so you can decide which ones to be. In the first sort of beginning of the game, it doesn't really matter. It might matter later, but I'm not going to spoil that.
They have like just a big falling out. It's over politics or something like that. It's
something like that.
So something I really like about this, other Lego games, they will incorporate organic materials for parts of the environment. This is entirely Lego. If it's not Lego, it's just air basically.
Yeah.
Did you see that as a challenge, or was that like kind of almost like a good guiding line?
It is a good sort of creative constraint to say it needs to be brick built. We added the water as sort of real water in a way, not brick water. But it is tough. Obviously, it's tough to build a full world of Lego bricks and make sure it all sits in the same system. And these models are actually buildable in real life. You could have, if you had the bricks, you would be able to build them. But for us, that's the way a game about bricks needs to be.
I love this. So one of my favorite pieces of just video game development trivia is that Hideo Kojima built out a lot of Metal Gear Solid using Lego. There's all these photos of him with just the level design made out of Lego. Did you guys make levels with Lego first, or did you kind of do any prototyping or real-world testing?
Actually not this time.
Really?
In Builder's Journey it was easier because it was smaller dioramas. These worlds are bigger. Right? They're easier to block out in brick in digital to begin with. But we did use what we call a grey brick models. So we made sort of a little more sort of, can you say, elements that we could put together to block out a level before actually dressing them up, making them smooth, putting in all the nature elements. We needed to know that the gameplay was working before we actually started to set dress all of these models, right?
I love this. So I have a 4-year-old daughter. She's into Lego. She's terrible at video games. I'm also terrible at video games. Let's talk about sort of how you're doing accessibility and difficulty. This is clearly meant for players of all ages, but how are you making it more accessible for less experienced players, but also making it more challenging for more seasoned players?
I mean, first of all, it's a very forgiving game, right? When you fall off a cliff, you just respawn right where you left the level, right? So there's no real punishment in the game. There's no camera. The camera is controlled by the game, so it'll try to keep you framed at all times, the two players. And then I think the puzzles are of varying difficulty, but and they sort of require you to think outside the box. And sometimes, kids are actually better at doing that than grown-ups, right? So we've tested this a lot on all sorts of different constellations of players, and most players get through. And I think that kids have a tendency to hang out in certain areas and just have fun and just stay there for a while and play with all the little toys like you actually see here on the screen. And grown-ups tend to want to complete it, get through it, beat the game. And I think that strikes a good balance. So I think it's for everyone.
I love this. It is. I mean, video games are essentially toys, and I love that this is toyetic. That there's sort of little things in the environment to interact with.
Yeah.
Are those sort of like Easter eggs? Are they kind of like little puzzles? Or they're not puzzles. They're just like.
We put a lot of toys out in the world, so we don't have that much sort of secret for you to find, but we have a lot of places to hang out. We have a tic-tac-toe game in the middle of it, and you can play, and there's lots of little, buttons and things you can pull and to try things out. So we want to put everything for the players, and make it more toy-like in a way.
Okay. About how long would you say it takes to complete if you're not.
It's very. It depends on the player, of course. Yeah, I think we've seen sort of regular playthroughs for 4.5 to 5 hours for the whole sort of campaign. But if with kids involved, it just takes longer because they wanna explore and do all sorts of things.
Are there any, I guess, features for encouraging replayability, like a creative mode or anything like that, or is it just kind of about the main?
There are in the game. It is a sort of a narrative that beginning, middle, and an end. But there will be pockets in the game that's worth revisiting, where you can actually hang out and build stuff and do things. So there's going to be a way to sort of pop into the game's different sections and try it again in a new way.
Cool. Yeah, I was going to ask: is it broken up in? Is it like sort of one linear story, or is it broken up into levels, or did you kind of?
It is one linear story, but there are some chapters, and there's a menu you can go in and pick these.
Cool.
These chapters.
So we've sort of gotten allusions to there being a story. There's something about like a rocket launch, I guess. Like, what's the narrative here?
It's a story about friendship. I think we want to sort of try and look at topics and ask some open questions about how does these things work in Builder's Journey with parent and child and having enough time to play together. This time it's about friendship and sharing a dream. And these two bricks, they just dream about being astronauts. A lot of bricks do actually, and so that's not a strange thing.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, and they play with space toys. They build their own rockets in the backyard. They watch these test launches, and then all of a sudden, one of these test launch go wrong, and the spaceship is crashing. And they find a little cockpit in the woods that they make it their mission to try and get it back to space. And during that, I think they discover things about their friendship, and we're sort of asking open questions about friendship, growing up, maybe growing apart. How do you stay connected with friends in your life? How do you make sure that you still have that connection?
Man, that's actually really hard hitting. That's like one of those things challenging as an adult.
It is.
This is also like it's a non-verbal game. There's no dialogue, correct?
Yeah.
Is there any kind of communication you can have?
We have a sing function. So you can press the square button. They will sing a little note that will change also depending on the context of the game. So if they're sitting on something specific, they'll sing in a different way. And we use that in general for sort of co-op plays where you don't speak. So you can say go over here by singing, and then you can sort of point in a direction. It also propels the narrative. It also helps sort of underline their emotions. But most of the emotional content is delivered through the music. We spend a lot of time music, Henrik Lindstrand, our composer, to make sort of themes that underlie the themes of the game and are sort of reintroduced later in the game to give you a sense of structure, if you will.
Now, I'm curious, like the library of LEGO elements has just grown exponentially over the course of the company's history. You've got a very distinct style guide here, and it's like clearly there are some colors you're using, some colors you're not. It's about Lego bricks that want to go to space, but you're not dumping in a bunch of space pieces. Like, what were the rules you had for what works here and what doesn't? Like, what makes sense?
I think we have an artistic vision, sort of some values, right? We do some paint overs where our art director takes the brick models and do some artistic paintings, and we say, let's see if we can match that feel in the game with bricks, right? So that's sort of our base. We have some color palettes for the different chapters. We do go to different kinds of environments in the game that we're not showing at the moment, and they have a different color palette.
Okay.
But it's all been sort of dressed as a coherent sort of artistic, based on the values of an artwork, if you will, right? Piece of art. Yeah.
What was your first Lego set?
My very first Lego. The first that I remember is actually the Yellow Castle.
Oh, nice.
Which is in the 70s.
That's a classic,
so
yeah.
I go way back, actually. Some of the first sort of themed Lego sets with minifigures. And actually, I still have that. I still have that set.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
If you had to make a game about one specific Lego element that wasn't a Lego brick, what would it be? Like a more esoteric one, I'd say.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think it would be, I don't know, I'm fascinated by the clips, right? There's there's sort of that different kind of element that clips in a different way. It'd be fun to explore that sometime in a game. Or, I don't know, maybe toy around with the idea of being able to change your shapes to another brick if that's needed or something like that.
Yeah.
There's so many things we can do.
I would want to be one of those little like Rock Raiders neon crystals, maybe,
Yeah.
or the hot dog, but that's technically 2 pieces. So
Oh yeah, okay,
the
yeah,
bun,
that's true. Yeah.
So this is co-op. It can be played locally, or it's also got sort of the friend code approach.
It does, yeah. So for online players, you only need to buy one copy, and we have a Friend Pass edition that you can download, and then you'll be able to play with a friend.
The games that people are comparing this to are Haze Light, obviously, like Joseph Fares' Split Fiction. It's one of the most well-received games of the year. How have those games influenced the development of this one?
I think very much they've sort of paved the way. I mean, made it very clear that these games are here to. I mean, it's okay for co-op games to be played, and people love those, right? So I think in that sense, it makes us feel more safe saying this is a co-op only game. There's no way around it, and I think that's really great. I think we love these kinds of games, and it's great that there's a room for that.
Awesome. Well, I'm genuinely really excited for this. It's beautiful. It's really cool. And thankfully, we don't have to wait too long for it. LEGO Voyagers is out September 15th, so be sure to block out some time to play. It's next month. There's tons more Gamescom Studio coming up right here on IGN, so stick around.